Okay, so this is my 2023 Sand to the Sea race report. I wanted to do the race report for all my other races this year, but got kind of lazy, so I figured I'd do this one now while I have the um, race still fresh in my mind. Let me see. So what went right before the race? Usually I get like really bad sleep before a race, only because of like all the excitement of the race. Um, but this race was a lot better. I actually slept 7 hours before the race, so that was nice. Usually I get like half of that, like at the Yosemite half marathon. I probably only slept 4 hours, and that was like 4 hours on and off. It wasn't even a continuous 4 hours. But anyways, sleep was really good. Hydration was on point. I had my usual fruit smoothie. I had pineapples, strawberries, blueberries. What else? Peaches. I threw in an element packet for the electrolytes, and the base was cranberry juice. I think it was cranberry juice. So that that worked out pretty well in terms of hydration. I didn't stop at any water stations. I just ran straight through. So sleep was good, hydration was good. Um, the carb loading was also decent. I think I could have done better with the lunch. So the day before, I had a burger at Smoke and Jay's and a burger with their fries. It was good, but it wasn't as much food as I expected. And then dinner yesterday, I had chicken bulgogi with rice, and then I also had another fruit smoothie for all the vegetable needs and all that. So in terms of hydration and food, I think I did pretty well this time around. I think I'd give myself, I don't know, like 8 out of 10. Sleep was, I'd give it like a 7 out of 10, like an 8 out of 10, like not perfect, but it was much better than the other races. Um, what else? I would say the worst part about pre-race is that 2 to 3 days before this race, I did a threshold run and a lactate threshold test because I got a new heart rate monitor, and I probably should not have done those runs. Uh, yeah, just because I probably ran through my legs, like they were just a little too tired. Uh, Not as well rested as I wanted it to be, but it's okay. And then before that, I had a long run that was almost 20 miles. I think I did that last Sunday, like a week ago. Um, so, in terms of sleep, sleep went really well. Hydration went really well. Food went good. Could have been a little bit better. And then exercising, I probably should have taken it easy, I think, instead of going super hard this last week. But it's okay. So that's all pre-race. Okay, so the actual race. So I think in terms of preparation for the race, everything went smoothly. I could have potentially almost forgot my bib because I've already done that twice for two other races, the Yosemite and the Griffin Relay. Um, but this one I made sure to get my bib because I think I've learned my lesson twice already about forgetting the bib. And then also I left 15 minutes before the shuttles. So the shuttles were shuttling people from the parking lot area to the start of the line, just to make the traffic more efficient. And I got there at the parking lot 10 minutes before the buses were going to stop running. So that was good. Luckily, I live close to where that parking lot was. Um, so that went pretty well. What else? And then the morning, I think I woke up at a good time. Like I didn't wake up super early so that I could get to the race like super early. I think I woke up early enough. I woke up at I wanted to wake up at 5:30, but actually I ended up waking up at 5 because I needed to go to the restroom. So uh, yeah, had my smoothie that I already mentioned in the morning. Hopefully I didn't wake anyone up. Making that at like 5:30 in the morning because the blender's pretty loud. Um, so yeah, I think everything went pretty well before the race. The only one thing I wish that could have gone better is that I wish that I got there sooner so that I could do a shakeout, a longer shakeout run. Um, my shakeout run was only like a quarter of a mile, not that long. I think ideally I wanted to do maybe like a mile or two before the race just to get the blood flowing and the heart rate going and to stretch more. I stretched, but I didn't stretch as long as I usually do. Like I usually spend like at least 5 minutes stretching, but before a race, I ideally want to stretch like I don't know twice as long. So um, that could have been better. But other than that, anything else pre-race? Um, yeah, everything was good in terms of the morning, except for getting to the finish line a little late because I didn't have the shakeout run, or I couldn't have a longer shakeout run. Okay, now for the actual race. Now that we're almost 7 minutes in, the actual race. So my goal for the race was to stick with the pacer, the hour 40 minute pacer. Um, I started the race a little further back from the 140 pacer. I was probably maybe, I don't know, I want to say like 20 feet behind the 140 pacer. So I knew that I had to at least keep the 140 pacer like in line of sight for me to hit 140. And so that's what I pretty much did for the first half of the race. That was my strategy for the first half of the race. Um, Also, my other strategy was to race at threshold um, pace. Well, actually, I didn't really look at my watch like at all during the race because during race time I like to go based on feeling. Like, hey, do my legs feel great right now? Like, all right, we can pick up the pace, or like, oh, do my legs feel terrible right now? Let's dial it back so that we can um, make sure our running is as economical as possible. Um, so that was my general strategy for the race. Stick with the pacer. If the pacer wasn't in line of sight, then stick with feeling. Um, I'm not sure what my heart rate data was, but if I was at threshold, I was probably at around 177 beats per minute for a lot of it. Okay, not I remember. So like the first 4 miles, I was at like 156 in terms of my heart rate. Like that was like the average. That's pretty good. But right around mile 4, that's when my heart rate like spiked to zone 4. I think it was probably around 170 to 177. That's definitely in like threshold range. Um, like I can hold that for about an hour before I start breaking apart, which I was starting to break apart about around mile 11, but I'll talk about that later. Um, so let me see. So yeah, the first 6 miles, I set my pace at around, I don't know what the average was. I think it was like 7:35, something like that, 7:34. And I just went autopilot for that. Just trying to maintain pace, maintain good form. Luckily, my calves weren't dying this race. Usually, my calves are my weakest link, but didn't really feel it. I know before the race, my right Achilles was kind of sore, so I rolled it out. I put some ice on it, and I think that was a good move because that definitely helped. I should probably do that like I don't know after every run. uh, So yeah, the first half went really well. There was like a big group that was following the 140 pacer, but as the race got on, like more and more people were breaking apart from that group. But I was trying to stay in line of sight of the 140 pacer, and that's what I did. And eventually, I got to catch up to the 140 pacer um, right around the downtown Oxnard area, which is around mile 5 to 6. I actually passed the pacer because I was trying to maintain pace going up the bridge. So if you don't know, this course is relatively flat. The only uphill part is going over the bridge at around mile, I want to say mile 5, between mile 5 and 6. And I wanted to keep my pace up. So I ran up that bridge a little bit faster than probably what I wanted to. Um, and that's when I passed the pacer. But eventually the pacer passed me, which I'll talk about later. Let me see. Yeah, when I got to the halfway mark, Oxnard High's band was there. I waved hi to Spence, and he waved back, so that was cool. I tried to wave to all of the officers and all the volunteers, um, just to acknowledge them for their work and their time, just to show appreciation, of course. Let me see what else. So yeah, I was pretty much just cruising the first half of the race. Um, Felt pretty good. The second half of the race, I was feeling okay. At around mile like 7, 8, 9, I was going a little bit slower, but I was still on track to hit my goal. So mile 6, 7, 8, that's when I started to slow down. Like actually by 20 seconds each mile. Right around mile 9, that's probably when I started to feel it. But it didn't feel as bad, like to the point where I was starting to pull anything, like the Joshua Tree half marathon. Like I was, as long as could maintain the same effort, like everything was all good. Right about mile 11, that's when I started to fall apart a little bit. And so I just stopped and walked for a little bit. Probably, I don't know how long I walked, maybe it was like 10, 20 seconds. And there was this guy that I was keeping up with, and I passed him at some point. But right when I started to walk and break down a little bit at around mile 11, um, I felt someone like tap me on the shoulder, and it was that same guy, and he was like, "Hey, come on, let's go." So I was like, "Oh, all right, let's go." But I definitely think that like 10 to 20 second walk gave me some time to recharge. Because for me, I think I recharge like relatively fast. So if I just stop, give myself a little breather, give my legs like a small break, that's enough to get me the rest of the way. Um, yeah, the rest of the way, mile 11, 12, 13, those were like terrible. um, I was significantly slower. I think I was around like 8:30 and 8:30, and then this same guy, we were like basically keeping, yeah, each other on pace. So I was trying to stay on pace with him 8:30, and then right when I saw the finish line, that's when I bolted it. I just went like full sprint mode. Apparently, I ran like sub 5 minute. That was the pace I was going for the sprint, because you want to finish strong. And my final time was 1:41:21. It's not the 140 that I wanted. I think it's pretty close. I think I beat uh, my manager's time, so I'm pretty happy about that. Um, let me see what else. It was nice seeing Judy at the finish line. Unfortunately, my folks were uh, not there. They were still trying to find parking and whatnot. They didn't get there in time because traffic and whatnot. But that's fine. I got a lot of pictures of them, so that was good. Um, But yeah, what else? And then after the race, I could feel my like left midfoot kind of cramp, which is interesting. Like it's usually like one of my calves that cramp, but my calves are feeling fine. So um, I must have had like really good form today because my calves feel fine. I mean, they're sore from running, but my whole leg is just sore in general. But my calves are usually the ones that are feeling it. It's mainly my mid left foot that is kind of sore. But yeah, and then and then after the race, on the way back to the parking lot, so they have shuttles to shuttle people back to the parking lot where all the runners park. Um, I got to meet this Cal Poly alum that graduated in 2008. That's a materials engineer at the local naval base. So I thought that was pretty cool. We had a whole conversation about where we lived at Cal Poly and our time at Cal Poly and what we do at work and all that stuff. So, what are the odds of running into another Cal Poly alum on the shuttle? That's I don't want to say highly unlikely, but that's pretty cool that that happened. Um, Let me see what else about the race. I think that is it. So, in summary, pre-race was pretty good. I would give myself like I don't know, like an 8 out of 10. The actual race, even though I didn't hit my goal of 140, I was pretty close. Um, so good job to me. I'm not wearing my medal. I would show the medal, but I'll have to run downstairs. And then after, I probably should have stretched sooner, but I got into the whole um, like celebratory phase where I took pictures with everyone. So maybe I'll put it somewhere in the video here. Um, but yeah, that's my race report for the 2023 Sand to the Sea Half Marathon. If you have any questions, let me know. Drop in the comments, and we'll see you at the next race report.